today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. If you love a Reddit story, why not consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell too? Let's dive into today's first story. Much love, guys. Today's first story comes from the RAMI, the asshole subreddit. It's titled, "Am I the asshole for confronting my girlfriend about attending male strip shows without telling me?" I'm a 28-year-old male, and my girlfriend Jen is a 26-year-old female. We've been dating exclusively for 2 years and living together for 6 months. We live in a college town where we both earned our computer science degrees, but we didn't know each other in college. Jen is the classic cute nerd who loves playing video games and is a huge fan of Doctor Who. Jen has a good college friend, Amber, with whom she goes out maybe once every 4 to 6 weeks. Usually, it's something low-key like a movie or dinner and drinks. Many times during the week, not the weekend. I've never thought anything of it. I've never had a reason to. Plus, sometimes Jen comes home really horny and wants to have sex as soon as she stumbles through the door. Other times, she texts me to say she's going to crash at Amber's place. A few nights ago, Jen and Amber had a girls' night. She told me they were going to see a late movie and maybe grab some drinks after. Jen came home around 11 p.m., tipsy but not drunk, and basically jumps me in bed. We went at it until she fell asleep around 1 a.m. When I went to turn her light off, I noticed a pop-up on her phone with a QR code ticket passed to something called Men in Motion. I Googled it. It's a traveling show with male strippers that travels around the country and puts on male strip shows. Jen and I don't have an open phone policy, but I knew her password and was more than curious. I checked her Eventbrite app ticket history, and it looks like she's gone to a lot of these shows. I also looked at her phone and found a folder with 100 pics of her with male dancers wearing not a lot of clothing. I'm struggling with the idea that Jen enjoys watching hot naked men dance and has been hiding it from me. I feel inadequate and uneasy about the situation, although there's no evidence she cheated. There have been 2 nights she didn't come home that match the dates of the shows. I've always trusted Jen and don't want to accuse her of anything without evidence. But this whole situation is making me uneasy. How do I bring this up to her without making her feel like I don't trust her? How do I deal with the nagging feeling that even more may have happened? Reddit commenters suggest that Jen and her friend are liars and cannot be trusted. They advise confronting Jen and asking her when the next time the traveling strippers are coming around and what the lie will be next time. Others suggest that this behavior is not a strong foundation for a lifetime romantic relationship, and that it might be time to reconsider the relationship. Update: I knew I had to talk to Jen at home. I told her I saw the ticket on her phone the night of the show and asked her why she lied to me that she was going to the movies. She was initially taken aback and defensive, but eventually apologized for not being upfront. She said that she and Amber just considered it fun and even a silly girls' night activity. Jen admitted that she kept it quiet from me because she wasn't sure how I would react and didn't want to make things awkward between us by even asking. It was just something fun and naughty. She admitted that this was not her first time attending a show like this, but couldn't remember how many times in the past. Jen also said something I never thought of. She felt safe going to these shows as it was an all-women environment compared to bars and clubs where guys get drunk and hit on women. She reassured me that these shows were just for fun and not about any dissatisfaction with our relationship. She said at least 3 times that she finds me attractive and was very satisfied with our sex life. She even said if it would help me process things, she and I could go together to a club with female dancers. Neither of us has ever been to a strip club with female dancers, but she thought it would be similar. I could see for myself that it was just naughty fun, and we could experience it together. After a couple of hours, She grabbed my hand and took me up to the bedroom to assure me that I'm still the hottest man in her life. The next day, I was satisfied with her explanation. Jen didn't tell me how many times she had gone to these shows, but I chalked it up to her being embarrassed at me finding out and not wanting to hurt me anymore. I also didn't ask about the pictures. I didn't want her to know that I had looked at her phone, and there really wasn't any smoking gun evidence of infidelity. But the next day, something still just felt off. Maybe it was me just questioning myself and my naivety up until this point. So I reached out to a mutual friend of ours, Kirsten. Kirsten was a part of Jen and Amber's college friend group, and I knew Kirsten casually from a few classes we had taken together. Kirsten and I weren't close at all and hadn't seen her since graduation, but we reconnected at our wedding a couple of years ago. The wedding was just around the time Jen and I became exclusive. Jen and Amber were both bridesmaids. Jen took me as a +1. As far as I knew, Kirsten and Jen didn't have much interaction after the wedding, which I assume was just normal for married people to lose contact with unmarried friends. I messaged Kirsten on Saturday. I used the pretense that I was thinking of taking things to the next level with Jen, and that since she was the first person in the friend group that got married, and that she knew Jen, she could give me some advice. What she said next stunned me. She said that she didn't know that Jen and I were a couple, that she hadn't spoken to Jen since the wedding. She also said we could meet up for a coffee, so she can fill me in on some things in person, but not to tell Jen we were meeting. Holy crap, we had coffee on Sunday. Wow, just wow. Here's what she told me. I've written this chronologically, so it makes more sense. According to Kirsten, Jen was a virgin into her 21st birthday. As a joke, Kirsten, Amber, and friends decided to hire a male stripper for Jen's birthday celebration. To everyone's shock, Jen really liked the stripper, and she lost her virginity that night. Jen got the stripper's phone number, and Kirsten said they met up a few times after the party for what Jen called a special private show. Jen was unabashedly proud of this. Jen became more interested in dancers and would go do things like suggesting Magic Mike for movie night. Other times, she would comment on guys walking around campus, making comments about their abs and biceps and saying, "I bet he looks good in a thong." Jen had a serious boyfriend after college, and before we met that I didn't know about. According to Kirsten, their relationship ended when the boyfriend discovered Jen in bed with, a stripper. Jen had gone to a male venue, hung out after the show, managed to pick up one of the dancers, and took him home. The boyfriend ended up moving out of town for work, which is why I've never heard of him. The friend group knew about this mess, and Kirsten figured Jen had learned a lesson. At Kirsten's bachelorette party, where Jen and Amber were bridesmaids, Kirsten had explicitly told them no strippers. Despite this request, Jen and Amber arranged for 2 strippers to show up, and all 4 of them ended up having a foursome. Kirsten was understandably furious with them for hijacking her bachelorette and blatantly disrespecting her. She ended the friendship with Jen and Amber, though she kept them in the wedding party, because the wedding date was only a week away, and she didn't want word of this to get out and overshadow the wedding. Looking back, I remember the vibe of the wedding felt off, and this was why. I could tell Kirsten was still rightfully very pissed about the whole situation, and I said, I deserve to know the truth. Over the course of an hour, I went from stunned to furious. I'll spare you the ugly details of Sunday evening, but I broke it off and told Jen she has until the end of the week to move out. She was crying, screaming, begging, but at this point I had enough and told her she could just go off and die. Among her excuses, there was nothing wrong with a woman liking hot men and that it was all just a fantasy, no different than guys liking porn. They got her horny, and I got the benefit of it. I was being insecure. She really loved me and saw her future together, and this was something she could work through. Oh, she never slept with a stripper after Kirsten's bachelorette. and that the barley was early in our relationship and shouldn't count. But who knows? Jen will be sleeping in the spare room from now on, but I told her this is over. I will avoid her as much as I can until she moves out. I'm not worried about her doing anything psycho. I think she knows I will go nuclear and tell her parents and family the whole story if she tries anything. So it's done. Thank you again for everyone who gave me the needed push to man up and confront this. 7 days later. Thank you again for the support. Some of you asked for an update. Jen finished moving out on Saturday, no drama. I mostly avoided her. She made some attempts at reconciliation, but I think she knew it was hopeless. Some of you made helpful suggestions to protect myself, but mostly weren't needed. I wasn't worried about her trashing the place. She's not crazy, she just got caught. She also knew that I would go nuclear if she tried any stunts, and all the years together, she has never seen me this pissed off. Hell, I'd never seen me this pissed off. Our respective families live in different states. Our friend circles, what's left of hers, don't overlap. We work for different companies. There was no one for her to play a sympathy card on. Also, I wasn't worried about baby trapping, that I would never stick my dick in that again. Also, we're both well-paid IT professionals with plenty of disposable income and no desire to have kids. STD panel is clean. I did speak with Kirsten, former friend of Jen, to let her know what happened. One thing she said made me feel a bit better. She said that during and after college, Jen was actually pretty selective in who she dated and was not into the casual hookup culture and probably hadn't been with more than 5 guys total before me, with the obvious exception. She had a hobby of strippers. And yes, I know that sounds awful writing it, but she probably wasn't running around with a load of random hookups behind my back. So yes, I may have been naive, but not that naive. One of my friends said this whole thing reminded him of stories about men with loving wives and families who have some kink that can only be satisfied by hiring street hookers. Losing her virginity to a stripper may have done something to Jen's psyche that could only be satisfied with some jack dude with oiled muscles dancing in a thong. Not my problem anymore. I'm doing as okay as I can be in the situation. I'm not really depressed because I'm still pissed off about the whole situation. At some point, I may go to a strip club just to see what they're all about. The top comment on that update said, "The best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. OP, you dodged a bullet." Don't think for a minute that her recent post-show sleepovers were not what she said they weren't. The fact that she went away, relatively quietly, suggests that she's been caught and was trying to minimize the damage. You deserve better. There's someone out there for you. Best wishes. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Now just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you cheeky so-and-so in the next one. Take care and much love. In the spare time, everywhere you're selling false hope because you just don't care. Subscribe to the channel, like it, and leave a comment. This will greatly help the development of the channel. Thank you.